Greetings. In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can start your journey in witchcraft. We get a lot of emails about this, and so for all of you that have asked this question, this video is for you. Now, I will begin by saying on the Black Witch Coven website, on the menu bar, you'll see Start Here. And under that Start Here, you're going to see our classification for beginner, intermediate, and advanced magic. Now, let me talk about this first because you might be a little confused, or you might think, wow, why start at the beginner? Let's go straight into advanced magic. And my way of explaining these three categories is the beginner's magic is really about building the foundation. So when you become I won't say a stronger witch, or when you go into more advanced practices, that you're actually going to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. And if you don't, for example, if you don't understand how to conduct energy, and if you don't have, say, an appreciation for ritual tool, and you jump straight into a Goetia style ritual, how do you expect to have success? You don't understand why you're using those tools, or what's important about being able to connect to the spirit, or how to receive those spiritual answers, because you haven't done any of the foundational subjects. And that's why I'm finding out in my course, such as working with demons, part of those exercises is connecting with the spiritual world. And if you're coming in super fresh and you don't want to put in the effort, then just because you're working with me doesn't mean that you're going to have success. All the work has to come from you, and it comes from having a foundation in the craft, or with energy work, or whatever term you want to use. So now in intermediate magic, I'm suggesting that because you understand about the elements and the planetary systems and so on, and you understand about maybe the basic casting a circle, and you understand protection, which is absolutely key, now you can move into spell casting. You have enough protection around you, or you know what to do if you're coming under attack, that you're able to provide at least a basic level of counter magic, or reversal magic, or whatever system you're working in. You just know how to deal with it. So once you're able to do that, then start the spell casting, and you'll find that you really can command a spell, or chop or change what you're reading online or in a book to suit your own environment, your own magical practices. You understand a little bit about your own strengths and your own growth areas, so you can create a better magical environment for you to conduct yourself in. In advanced magical practices or advanced witchcraft, this is where I believe that you have overcome a lot of the fear that you would have had when you're first stepping into the craft. Probably stepping away, you feel comfortable enough to step away from your old systems and practices, maybe religious beliefs. You feel confident in maybe not 100% walking between the shadow and the light, but you're working on that actively, and you don't have a lot of fear about repercussions, because you're strong enough to deal with them if they come up. And at the advanced level, you're actually calling to the spiritual world or the demons, and you're invoking or evoking them to directly work with them. So that is why I said it's advanced magic. If you're in fear, this isn't the magical system for you yet. There's no discredit in you starting off at the beginner or the intermediate level, especially when you're on a journey. So this is when people will find that they really need to turn to a spellcaster, because they're not comfortable with invoking or evoking a demon or a spirit to achieve whatever their goal is. So now you know my three categories, or the path that I recommend that you go on. And like I said, you can go onto the website, and I list down different ways that you can experience each of these levels. Now, you're going to still say, all right, so how do I begin? So the first step I'm suggesting is that you research. Witchcraft isn't just about spells. There's so many different systems of witchcraft, and it really depends on what you want to get out of it, and maybe you don't even know yet. So rather than jumping straight into a system and giving yourself a label, what I suggest is that you spend a year just really taking a diary, and why not create your own little book of shadows. And don't try and create it where it's a book of correspondences, because you can buy one of them from the shop. Actually have it like a magical diary where it's like, I was really interested in folk magic, so I looked into hoodoo, and I discovered that I don't like the messiness of working with all the herbs and the tools and the candles. That it's not for me. I'm going to look into maybe Wicca and understand Do you see what I mean? So you're taking the time to explore each of these systems. So when we get these emails, how do I begin in witchcraft? Really, we can't answer you effectively, because you have to know what you're comfortable in right now. Are you leaving a religious system, and the idea of connecting to a demon it's exciting, but it's too overwhelming for you? Then obviously going straight into the spiritual world is not for you. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't start, but it means that you've got to decide what you're comfortable in right now, and what are you in fear of right now, because you won't have the results that you're really looking for if you don't know yourself and you don't know what your own fears are. So for those of you who are saying, where do I begin in witchcraft? Let me say that I suggest doing something like Buckland's complete book of witchcraft. This is actually a course. It's something that you can do at home. I would actually take this quite seriously. He goes through all the rituals that you'll need for protection, for connecting to the elements, and then he'll go into spell crafting as well. But take it seriously, even if you've got the book and you're doing it as an at-home study. Diarize it, like every week. Say, okay, Tuesday night between 6 and 9 p.m. I'm going to actually study this, and maybe Friday afternoon I'm going to put in some hours, and treat it like a proper course. Like, if you're serious about it, this is what you really need to do. And so this is a very affordable way for you to actually try and learn witchcraft while gaining some fabulous skill. Okay, but it will take time. It will take about a year. And then if you wanted to move right over into the dark arts, you're going to be more effective as well as a black witch or a sorceress, or wherever you want to go with this, because you're going to understand the fundamentals, and you're going to understand protection work really well, at a beginner to intermediate level, which is very important. Now, if you really want to head straight over to the dark path style rituals, also Connolly offers, she offers a really nice little book on demonology, and she also has, I think, some exercises that you can do in order to with demons and so forth, so you can actually feel more proficient at black magic or connecting with the demons. But once again, if you don't really understand about the importance of a lot of things that she's talking about, the importance of the oils, or the importance of some of the protection work and so forth, if you don't have a foundation, maybe you're not going to be able to receive the demonic connection as well as you could if you had a bit more of a foundation. But still, it's a great book for you to, if you're looking to start off right now, this is a good place for you to start as well. I also like Craig's book called Modern Magic, 12 Lessons in the High Magical Arts. If you're looking to go more into ceremonial style magic, this is a really good book. Once again, it's going to take you a year or two to follow through. You must like following rules. You must like, for example, like in order to do this style of ritual, you have to follow them precisely, and then you will achieve the results. If you want to wing it, you probably won't achieve the results. But once again, follow his course for a year or two, and you'll really determine if this style of magic is a great start for you. Also, of course, if you're looking to follow ritual magic and more of the Goetia style, then a lot of that is based on the ritual magic. We're just changing the way we do that, but having a background in ceremonial magic is going to help you when you move into advanced black magic, demonology style practices, okay? Yeah. Now, if you want to work strictly just with the Goetia right now, you want to jump straight in, then I really like the book of Abramelin. This book here is probably one of the better ones today to purchase to get into that. Once again, you're asking me questions. I'm not recommending you go here straight away, but if that's what you want to do, then follow exactly what it's saying if you want the results. Okay, so say that the same with the Kabbalah. Remember, the Kabbalah is based on a Jewish system, right? It's a Jewish mystical system. It's separate from witchcraft altogether. I know Mia from our coven performs a Kabbalah because that is her system. That's all she does. She doesn't do witchcraft. And generally it's passed down from the generations as well. If you're looking to get into, like me, I'm a Luciferian, right? Then maybe you want to jump straight into something like Michael Ford's beginning Luciferian magic. But even with this, I'm going to say it's better to go back to what I said is good for the beginners and the intermediate before you start to get into this. I really believe that you're not doing Luciferianism justice unless you have a good foundation in what I was speaking about before. Now, the last two systems I'm going to share with you because I feel like if you don't want to do the Wiccan system, you can't be bothered with ritual magic, and you're definitely not ready to become a Luciferian yet, you really just want to get a little hands-on, then jump into either candle magic, and I love this guy, what's his name? Malbro. You can see all my little tabs. I really think he does a wonderful job of explaining candle magic, the magical power of the saints. That way you can just jump in now at the ground level and feel like you've got some level of magical, or you're doing some level of magic without a lot of study and research. And the other one I like in the hoodoo sort of realm is by Stephanie Bird, 6 Stones, Roots and Bones. She's got a really easy to follow, non-egotistical book, which is really hard for a lot of these hoodoo and conjure workers to write. She's got a really cool little book because what she's doing is sharing with you how to bring folk magic or low magic, sympathetic magic into your life now. And I like the way she explains how to do a lot of the magic rituals, if you want, or how she explains her magic. And once again, you don't have to have a background in witchcraft to practice folk magic. You can just jump straight in there. So I've given you lots of tips here on how you can jump into magic right now. Take your time, research it, and if anything, if you just want to do something now, my number one tip is find a deity that you really want to connect with and start praying to him or connecting with him or her every single day in some way, because that's going to open up your mind. It's going to take you from the mundane world into the spiritual every day and strengthen that cord or connection. All right, catch you next time.